Okay, so now let's begin the event that we all are waiting for with the genius, that too for which we all are waiting for, right? So first of all, welcome to Mad Madians. And how are you all? Are you excited for this masterclass? You have the chat box and you can type the message because this will be an interactive session. So you can type your doubts, you can type your message, anything in this chat box. So are you all excited for this? That's great, Jamesh. That's great. Yash. Good evening, Jatin. Yeah, so it's going to be a really very informative and really very eagerly waited masterclass. So let's not wait much and let's welcome our master, the genius of all, Amin Sama, on this platform, Mad. Hello, sir. How are you?
Thank you so much for such a generous introduction, Tirth and Akib.
Uh, so still an introduction is remaining because it's always less to introduce you. uh, but then also, let me introduce first our master. Mr. Amin Sama is an experienced data science consultant at Mercedes-Benz with a demonstrated history of working in the automotive industry. Let me tell you that he's also skilled in blockchain, Python, unstructured data, data science, data visualization. And yes, more to this, he's also a coach who is coaching a lots of people, a lots of mentors who are there in college and also outsiders. So this is a very great news for us to have such a great person on this platform for you all. Welcome, sir.
I'm really flattered, Tirth. Thank you so much for the generous introduction. So
My
yeah,
pleasure.
how are you, Tirth and Akib?
Yeah, sir, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
Yeah, we are doing
Just
absolutely good.
yeah, so now we have two hosts. There is one genius, and we have two hosts to host this event. Myself, Tirth Shah, and another.
Yes, my name is Akib. So we both, like me and Teeth, will be hosting today's class, and we have a couple of questions. We are gonna have a lot of interaction with you guys. So yes, it's gonna be really exciting. Personally, I am excited because I have a lot of questions. Obviously, all of us have a lot of questions, but personally, I have a lot of questions that I want to ask. I mean, over here. So let's quickly start.
Yeah. So, Marians, before we start, let me tell you that you can put your doubts in the doubt section. Okay, and your each and every doubt, we will try to give a best response for your any doubts. Okay. So yes, so let's begin. So firstly, I want you to ask that how was your journey while becoming a data scientist?
So journey to a data scientist was a crazy ambition. Uh, it starts with I'll explain it with an anecdotal story. One day, my friend comes to my place, and he's a trader. So he asked me that you're a computer engineer. Why don't you develop an algorithm that predicts a trade? And to that point, I was a network security engineer at Hypermetus. And I was like, yeah, that's not a pretty big deal. Anybody can develop a chatbot or anybody can develop a trade bot as such. And then with that, I started an ambition that I will develop a trade bot. 3 days continuous efforts, probably 16 hours a day for next 3 or 4 days. And I pulled all the GitHub repositories. I tried to, I had zero experience in Python at that point of time. I was totally, though I had completed my master's, due to lack of academic excellence in our own Indian education, we didn't have we didn't have a Python in that syllabus. Hence, I started with a scratch, and after 3 or 4 days, I was like, "Oh, this particular field is difficult." And then it gave me an adrenaline rush to jump into it completely. So so this was the tipping point of me choosing data science over network security engineering.
Okay, sir, that's great. So here I'm getting a shock that you don't have any particular data science or machine learning based degree. You are a self-taught data scientist who is working at such big companies like Mercedes. So yes, this is something that we should know, that even he has not learned anything, but just by having those ambitions and the syndrome of adrenaline in him, he has cracked this much of difficulties and got a job that people dream about, right? So that's really
Absolutely
great,
true.
sir.
Absolutely true. You know, I completely agree that adrenaline rush is, really important. That, that gives you a push. So all of us are waiting for that kind of a push, which Amin has already got in his life. So we are waiting for that kind of push so that, even we can get started. Okay, I cannot wait to ask one question that I have it, on my personal side. I have interacted with couple of data scientists, who are working in different companies. But personally, I wanna know, how does your day look like a data scientist at Mercedes Benz? We have seen a lot of data scientists working in different companies, but I personally want to know how is your day as a data scientist at Mercedes Benz?
Okay, there are few days when we are into production, code production, and that time I go early in the morning, around about 6 early in the morning, and I start coding. I jump right into it, and I start solving the business problems. Then when and post lunch we have meetings.
Okay.
Meanwhile, if I get a time, I read a research paper which I'm working on,
Okay.
and that's how the day revolves. When we are into completely brainstorming ideas, we usually have several meetings with
Mhm.
stakeholders, with managers, with team leads, etc. And we have a brainstorming sessions for 3 hours, 4 hours, and we come up to an idea, and then this idea is proposed to higher management.
Okay. So it's more like an R&D role if I can, make out. So it's more like an R&D role where you have to do a lot of brainstorming. You come up with an idea, you present to the management, and once they approve it, and you get started with the, with a prototype maybe initially, and then you get into the, actual coding. So is that what it is?
Absolutely, absolutely. So first we develop a minimum viable product,
Okay.
and with that minimal viable product, it depends whether how much we extrapolate. So how
Okay.
much it will be helpful for the company and for its
Hmm.
users,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then we decide to put it into production or for internal use.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Okay. Sir, I have one more doubt, and the doubt is, see, you told that you spend much of your time in the company discussing and brainstorming about ideas, working with stakeholders. So, what I can see over here is there much weight given to business understanding than programming when it comes to data science?
Of course. First of all, very nice question, Tirth. Many people have the idea that data scientists just code stretch to 16 hours or 17 hours, and they don't have any discussion as such. So this particular skill of having a communication is really important. We hardly
Okay.
code for 4 hours or 5 hours, and rest of the time is either designing a logic, implementing a algorithm, or having a new research in all together. And that's how
Okay.
the day unfolds.
Okay. That's great, sir. Can you tell about your most interesting machine learning or data science project that you have worked on? Because
Ah,
see, we do some projects, right? Someone mentioned that we do some projects on Kaggle.com, and there are many other platforms. But what are the type of projects that you have done so that they can
uh,
inspire us to do some similar challenging projects?
So companies project, definitely they are very, it's a R&D, so that I am not sure whether we can discuss or not. But my personal pet projects, I would like to show it to you. I'll just present my screen.
Okay, sir.
So this project particularly, when I was starting machine learning, probably 6 or 7 months into it, and I had developed this particular project. It was a traffic detection systems.
Okay.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah,
Yes,
sir.
yeah.
We can see. We can see. We can see.
Awesome. So this is one of the aspects of that particular image processing, video processing, and this was developed for IIT
Okay.
Bombay.
That's great. That's really great. Okay, sir.
It had, yeah, tell me.
Okay, so it will detect the traffic.
Yeah, exactly. So this was a proof of concept with using YOLO V3.
Okay.
And I was the sole person in this particular project. So I had to, from scratch, I had to collect the data. Then I had to annotate every data point, label all this data, then train it onto GPU, and then do all the trust and trial methods.
Oh, that's really nice. I think is this what led you to get into the automobile industry, because the project itself is all about traffic.
Kind of, definitely, because this drew me into a tunnel vision that, in automobile we can use several machine learning and deep learning techniques.
Okay. Okay. Speaking of which, I have a very, related question that we just spoke about. So, in automobile industry, like, what are your thoughts? Like, what all kind of use cases can we have in automobile industry? Like, self-driving car is one of the use cases which a lot of people are already working on. Apart from that, or maybe a little more detail on that. So what all use cases do you see in automobile industry with respect to machine learning, deep learning, and things like that? Hello? Teeth, am I audible?
Yeah, Akib, you are audible. I guess there is
Yeah,
some
some
problem.
network issue right over there.
Yeah, okay. Let's wait.
Yeah, just let's wait.
Okay, so Ayush, yes, we will be coming up with your question, how we can prepare for business project other than Kaggle. Don't worry. Uh, then what are the other questions? How to start to learn data science and machine learning? Just wait. Who is asking? Prajapati Rima. You just wait. We will be coming to that point too. We have many questions planned. So wait for those to be clear. Then after, if you have any doubt, some sort of that type of doubt, then you can surely ask. Coming to your question,
Yes.
Ayush. Just let's wait for the sir to join.
Personally, I am enjoying this session, Teeth.
Yeah, even I.
I have a few doubts on my end. Probably with the help of this particular masterclass, I'll be able to solve my doubts. Okay,
Yeah.
I think we're back. So
Hello,
yes,
hello,
I,
hello.
I don't know until what extent you could hear my question. I'll just repeat my question again.
Sure.
I'm audible to you now, right?
Yep.
Okay. So my question was, in automobile industry, what are the use cases that you could possibly think of? Like, one is, self-driving car that people are already working on. Like, a little more detail on that maybe, or any other use case in general. See, I come from a telecom background. I know a couple of use cases, like, churning of a customer and things like that in a telecom industry. Similarly, I'm really interested to know what kind of use cases can we have in, automobile industry.
Sure. First of all, I'm so sorry. We are having a power outage in Bangalore. So,
No.
technical difficulties. Yeah, a very good question. And the current automobile industry leveraging a machine learning or a deep learning technologies are, of course, as you said, self-driving cars, which is very prominent in Tesla Motors. There was a very interesting case when Tesla Motors had to reduce their neural network size to make it more battery efficient and make it more user viable. Well, they had a very good they had very good model, but the problem was it was exhausting that particular battery, and it was not very practical.
Okay.
Apart from that, I'll tell in MBRDI, in Mercedes-Benz Research and Development India, we are using we use for supply chain optimization. So, are you able to hear my voice?
Yeah, I can
Yeah, sir.
hear you.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can.
Awesome. So, in supply chain management, we are injecting in AI and machine learning to make decisions which are AI driven, and sometimes we are using deep learning as well. One more very interesting case scenario is part failure predictability.
Power failure predictability. Okay.
Particular part of vehicle.
Yes.
Okay. So, sir, how that happens? So, can you just give a little bit of tech idea of how it happens?
So we already have certain labeled data that
Okay.
this part particular, it has a certain shelf life, and then we are using image processing as well. So it has a deep learning and a neural network kind of power that is able to determine how much part a particular wear and tear it can handle.
Okay. Okay. Something that I could not think of. Obviously, coming from automobile industry, you can give us that exposure. I could never think of things like that. So yeah, that's a very interesting point.
Yeah. So we have one question: how we can prepare for business project other than Kaggle? There is a question
Oh.
from a Madian, Ayush Pandey. He's asking this question.
That's a really interesting question. So, apart from Kaggle, I mean, for me, Kaggle is a way to go. We have several competitions in Kaggle, and then we have a learning material as well. So, learning paths also from Kaggle. Uh, Try to go to meetup.com and have local communities, those who are interested in machine learning, and have a competition or have a data set or generate a data set and work. If you have a particular passion, work around that passion. How can you use machine learning or a deep learning on surrounding to that?
Okay. So let me share with you one project that a Madian is working on. His name is Aryan, and what they are trying to do is they are trying to incorporate data science and analytics into retailers' shop, bringing them analytics for what they have sold, and then providing some business solutions. So yes, Madians, you can think of such type of problem, and you can develop that business skill on their own. Seeing the problem and trying to solve that problem is something what we call business, right?
Yes.
So this is the thing. There is one more question by Manish sir. Wanna ask about industry related algorithms. Are they using their own algorithms? So
Really,
yeah,
really
sir, please.
interesting question. Really interesting question. I actually wanted to answer Manish because it caught my eye. So definitely, 70 to 80% we use predefined algorithms like decision trees, random forest, SVMs. But then, when we have a novel problem, we developed our own algorithms. Like for supply chain management, we had our own proprietary algorithm developed by me to solve certain aspects of that particular problem.
Okay.
So it's best of both worlds.
In
Okay,
general,
okay.
when we're speaking about, say, Mercedes Benz, maybe we can come up with a ratio, say 70 to 30, 70% predefined algorithms, and maybe 30% coming up with our own algorithms. Maybe this is a rough ratio.
In MBIDI, we haven't used any standard algorithm per se.
Okay.
So it's completely new algorithms. It's completely new path every day. So
Oh, that is something
it's
interesting.
that. Though we
Okay.
sometimes use neural networks,
Mhm.
but those particular neural networks are also designed very specifically for that particular task.
Okay.
Okay, sir. So one more question. People from other backgrounds of like data science or programming, like mechanical background. So
Mhm.
Prasad Patil is asking, is it helpful for me to having domain knowledge?
Of Prashant, of course, it's a key element. So sometimes if you have domain knowledge, that definitely gives you an advantage. But I have seen in front of my eyes that person from mechanical engineer has succeeded as a data scientist in
Correct.
MNC companies.
Correct. And Marians, most of the time when you see people who are becoming data scientists, then if you will be going through their resume or any some sort of thing, you will find that they are basically from the core branches like finance, or they have done mechanical, or just like network engineering. So this brings more a knowledge of your domain, and then you can use data science on that domain. So it is not that you should be from IT or computer field, or you should have some specific degree of data science. From any background, you can have this degree. You can have this job profile. Am I right,
Of
sir? Am I
course,
right, sir? Am I right, sir?
of course, 100%.
Okay. So the next question that I have uh, is there any impact of data science in this field, automobile industry?
A lot. A lot. I mean, we cannot even imagine how much data science is driving this automotive field and rest of the fields. I mean, I don't even have a scale for that. It's massive.
Okay.
Each and every day, we are injecting AI into our static jobs and replacing it with AI and machine learning and deep learnings.
Okay. So I have one personal question. I
Mhm.
don't know whether it will be suitable, but I have one personal question.
Sure, sure.
And the question is, uh, see, people take cars based on their features and what styles it has, what looks it has, right? So,
Yep.
do Mercedes-Benz uses data science to predict that this feature will bring this price or this features will work next in
Ah,
building cars?
very interesting question. But Tirth, unfortunately, I guess
Yeah, I know, sir.
I have no I cannot deny neither accept that.
Yes, I can understand that you cannot share some insights from Mercedes-Benz. So okay.
I
Anyway,
had a very good question from Amit. Amit is asking, is DSA, data structures and algorithm, required in machine learning, data science, and AI? Of course, Amit. It's a fundamental. Take it as a fundamental because you have to learn a particular language. It could be Python, it could be Julia, it could be R, but you need to have understanding that how to write particular algorithms in that language. It, and the data structures, of course, for that particular language or a generic data structure.
speaking of learning, uh, what would you suggest our Madians, like, what is one of the effective way of learning data science or machine learning? All of us have different approaches. I'm pretty sure once you, like, since you have already reached that level where you can see everything from, on a very high level, you have the clarity of you have that granularity clarity, as well as you have a view from the top. So from that level, maybe you will be able to suggest us better, like what is the best approach, when it comes to learning data science or machine learning. How can one learn effectively?
Sure. I'll just present my screen and I have a small presentation for that.
Okay, nice.
Are you able to see? Okay.
It's coming up, and yes, we can
Yes.
see. Can see.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. So this is a very essential skill. First, learn how to learn.
Very true. Very true.
And if I was a president of this country, I would have made this course mandatory. It's so good.
Okay.
It's so good and it's so critical about this course. So
Ah,
you can find this course on Coursera. This is the hyperlink for that. Or you can just Google it out, learning how to learn. It's
I
from Dr.
think I
Barbara
have
Oakley.
done that. I am, even I have done this particular course. I remember it is a very powerful course. It's all about diffuse thinking and focused thinking and things like that, if I'm not wrong. Right? It's a
Absolutely,
course.
absolutely,
Yes, yes, I
absolutely.
remember. It's really
I'm
important.
I'm really happy, Akib, you have done that.
Okay.
This is
Yes,
for me. I understand that this is a single point, and it's really critical for everyone to understand how to learn properly.
yes.
So that's for this particular. The first step should be how do you learn. Uh, Second step should be this another course from Coursera. It's Mind Shift: Breaking Through Obstacles to Learning and Discovering Your Hidden Potential.
Okay.
This too is provided by Barbara Oakley,
Hmm.
Dr. Barbara Oakley, and then this particular video. It is a lecture from I guess Princeton University. Study less, study smart. Really, really good lecture. I must say everyone should go and watch this YouTube as soon as this stream gets over.
Okay. And adding to the same question, would Kaggle competitions actually, help a lot? I'm certainly sure it helps to an extent, but to what extent does it actually help us? If you have to effectively learn data science.
Sure. I'll just complete with the learning process.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, sure.
So second step, take care of your mental health. Currently, what we are going through in COVID situations, it's very essential for us to have a peace of mind. Take time out for take a time out from your life and treat yourself really good. Use your energy well. Use your energy very cautiously. Uh, and for learning, if you are starting for a data scientist or say data analyst or data engineer, start with a specific language. Don't go generalize. Don't have a generalized view. So you can select Python, Julia, or R. My personal favorite is definitely Python. And why it is called a language? Because we literally communicate with computer through these languages. So this is a tool. Consider this is a tool and not a liability that you have to learn Python. It's a difficult thing. It's really simple thing. You can put a week's effort and you are good to go. Apart
Yes.
from that, learn important libraries like NumPy, Pandas, TensorFlow, Scikit-learn, PyTorch from Facebook. So this particular libraries, even you have a rough idea how they work, more than enough. Then I am a avid advocate for MOOC. So and in this COVID situation, they have really shown their power. MOOC is basically massive open online courses.
Yes.
So try to enroll yourself in as many MOOCs as possible. Try to complete their deadlines. Try to learn how you can interact and how can you learn online. So this will be a really good skill set for you. You can have a best professors teaching you online from say USA or Europe, anywhere in this world. Then, after you have learned particular language, you need to code. So you can have a coding practice at HackerRank, Code Wars, or Code Chef. So these three are my top three priorities in competitive programming.
Okay. Okay.
Akib, do you have your favorites in this?
When I was in college, for those of you who don't know, we both studied in the same college. I was in bachelor's and Amin was in master's. So that is when I actually saw him first. So we had, slightly a culture in our college where people were focusing on CodeChef. I'm not sure about masters. I mean, but then in bachelors, we had this, there were a couple of students who were actually focusing towards CodeChef. So I was one of them. So that is when I used to do a lot of competitive programming. So I've done it on CodeChef. My favorite is Podge. I love solving problems on Podge.
Nice,
HackerRank
nice.
is also good. Recently, I guess some 3 months back, when we had our first lockdown, I had one entire Sunday where I didn't have any sort of trainings. So I just wanted to make a productive use of that. So I just logged into HackerRank and I started solving Python problems. So it was actually
Awesome.
very interesting. It took me an entire day to get that 5-star. So yes, I completely agree with you. If somebody wants to get good at programming, they should get into these platforms. Completely agree with
Correct.
you.
Correct. And
Even my Sunday mornings are spent with HackerRank mostly.
Oh, nice.
Okay, and the last part of learning, it's Kaggle. Kaggle is like a gold mine. Use it as extensively as possible, and have a healthy competition between your peers.
Very true. Very true.
So this particular stack is really important. So start learning from a particular take up a particular language, learn it via MOOC or any other online platforms, and try to practice it via HackerRank or Code Wars or CodeChef, and then jump into Kaggle. Have a competition, have a practice.
Very true. Very true.
okay, sir.
So yes,
That's
yes,
really
yes,
great.
yes.
Maidens, you can take screenshots of sir's site. I
Sure.
hope you have.
I'll just present my screen.
Yeah, sir. You please take screenshots so that you can have this for lifetime. And yes, sir, you presented something that no one tells. The first two slides were really very, very important to have in every student's life. People just start with learning programming languages before ever learning how to learn. Yes, exactly, sir. You gave a very good advice to everyone.
I had a hard time learning. I had a hard time having that learning curve. So I know what a aspiring data scientist goes through.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
My personal favorite is this particular course, this particular YouTube video, and learning how to learn. Definitely, I have several courses, but these three are critical in my point of view.
Okay. I think people have taken the screenshots. I think we can proceed,
Yeah.
right? Team?
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. So the next question is, what are few misconceptions that you get to hear about machine learning or data science?
This one is really annoying. Everybody thinks that machine learning or a deep learning will replace coding altogether, which is virtually not possible. For some certain rules, rule-based programming, it will be essential and will be there forever, like operating system, like running an operating system. We do not need a neural network to train and to boot a particular system. We don't have to put those many efforts just to have a booting system or just to have an operating system altogether. A basic operating system. It could be DOS also. Apart from that, we cannot inject AI everywhere.
Correct.
So this is a very basic misconception that AI can be replaced everywhere, and yeah, it has potential to replace few jobs, but the more it replaces, the more it will create new jobs and new opportunities.
True, true, true.
True,
I can
sir.
recall one incident. I still remember when ATM was, introduced. People thought, every person who's working in a bank might lose a job. So that is what the people's concern was when the ATM machine was introduced. But then, if you look at the world that we have today, it created actually more jobs. Nobody were actually removed from banks. So that is
Correct.
what, that's one of the examples. So AI, as Amin said, it might replace few people's job, but at the same time it's going to create more jobs. I completely agree with that. Very true.
Yes.
Very true.
With that, I would like to add one more story, which probably Andrew Yang said. This AI is like an electricity.
Correct.
It will bring in a new revolution. And being an MBRDI employee, I would like to give another analogy.
Okay.
So we had horse riding and chariots.
Hmm.
Those horse riders were replaced by cars, and in turn, it gave a huge new dimension to job and new economic boost, the logistics and etc. So it will develop n number of jobs. That's definitely, that's for sure.
Yes, yes, yes.
Correct, correct, sir.
I agree with you.
So there is one question: how to switch and apply in big company like yours? How did you get into it? As most of the company looks for 5+ years of experience in data science field. This is asked by Manish Tiwari.
Huh.
This is one of the questions that I just wanted to ask. I mean, I had it in my throat. I was about to just ask this question. How can one prepare for unicorn companies like Mercedes-Benz and things like that? And you just, somebody just asked that question. So you can answer both the questions at the same time.
Awesome. That's a really good question. I'll just present my screen and then I'll give a brief explanation to how one can prepare and have a interview. Have interview preparation. So first, while preparing an interview, broaden your topic. So you're not going as a data scientist over there. They'll ask you in data scientist also, they'll ask you SQL, they'll ask you MongoDB. They can ask you n number of questions, and you should be able to answer them or have a logical explanation that why you don't know, or are you willing to learn those kind of topics. Then curb your anxiety. That's a really, that's really easy to say, but really difficult to do.
Easier said than
Try
done.
to, yeah, easier said than done, of course. So have your own mantra. How do you curb your anxiety depends totally on you. You can find n number of YouTube videos where they have their own techniques. And most critical thing, go to websites like Glassdoor and research about the company, what company is doing, what company is dealing about. And if there are any question answers for particular job description, go and search what they have asked previously. So you'll get a rough idea. They won't ask that specific questions once again, but you will have a general idea that what they ask. And have a healthy breakfast. That's so essential.
Very
Cannot
important.
put more emphasis. And another thing, whenever we are having an interview, ask question to an interviewer, so you get insights to what they are trying to ask and what skills they actually require. It's an interview, so it is a bilateral communication and not unilateral.
Correct, correct.
Apart from that, this really helped me. So solve at least 200 questions on HackerRank or any other coding platform or any other competitive platform. This will give you an extra edge, which is required when there are, let's say, 50 or 60 people come for an interview, and you stand out from that. Then prepare your basics. Have a course on machine learning by Andrew Yang. It's really good. It will rebrush all your machine learning concepts and theories. Then there is another course from Udacity, which is Introduction to Machine Learning. So you can go through this course with 2x speed and then understand and have a brief idea. So you do not get stuck when they are asking questions. Can you take a screenshot, please?
Yeah, students can take a screenshot. I love the way you have highlighted the breakfast. Really important.
For
I
me,
have
it's
seen
it's
couple
a
of students
deal breaker.
who miss breakfast. Just because they have an interview, they don't want to waste time. They keep studying. They, tend to not eat anything. They just go to the, uh, you know, these kind of things will affect internally. I completely agree with you.
Of
Breakfast
course,
is very
you
important.
won't be able to think
Focus.
straight if you don't have glucose in your body.
Yes.
Yes, sir. You are right. You are right. And sir, what for mathematics? Is it uh, that important for machine learning or deep learning or data science?
Yes, it's important. As in, you have to understand that how neural networks work. For that, you need particular algebra course or particular understanding that how the differential equations work.
Okay.
But a brief knowledge of mathematics would do. You don't have to be a mathematician for that, of course.
Correct, sir. Correct. 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 Exactly. Exactly.
Uh, you can
So
uh, you can learn mathematics from Khan's Academy. They
okay.
provide really good source. They have calculus 1 and 2 also, which I have already done that, and it was really helpful for me.
Correct,
Okay.
sir. Correct. Correct. Uh, and sir, even I have seen that people, the companies, they put some requirements like 5+ years of experience or 4+ years of experience. So is it that for every other company? So why they want experience? Even a beginner can have that knowledge, then why that beginner is not able to have that job?
So unfortunately, in here we have a very different mindset, which is theoretical knowledge.
Okay,
So we run after theoretical knowledge and we have expertise in those particular theoretical concepts. But when it comes to implementing, or when we want to put it into a business, we don't
correct.
have idea for that. So that transition has to happen with the experience. Or
Okay,
if you have already developed your own projects, that's how you get those particular experience, and that's why they are putting 5+ years of experience, or they usually don't take freshers for that reason.
okay. So is it preferable that first you do some domain type of job like software engineering or some sort of MBA or some or in some finance industries and then you apply for data science? Is it so?
Uh, Not exactly. You can directly go into data scientist, but it will be like you can have an internship
Okay,
where you will get a best of both worlds. So you will be able to learn and you will be able to earn as well.
got it, sir.
And that particular experience would drive your career very much.
Okay, 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 sir. Got it. So someone is asking, do we have to be very good in both machine learning and deep learning for becoming a data scientist?
Not necessary. So it depends on which company you are going through. Mostly in industry right now, only 80 to 90%, whichever the tasks are coming, are on based on machine learning. Because apart from R&D, no other company is using deep learning much.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because it's right now we are into a stage where we are making proof of concepts.
Hmm.
You can be a driving force to put more deep learning, but right now it's really essential that you focus on machine learning.
Correct, sir. Got it, got it. So now, sir got a idea, a golden key of how to crack the job, and that is, you first understand which company you want to target. Just like he told, go on Glassdoor and see what companies need. You understand their business, you understand what they are doing, and then see, understand, as sir told, that why company will hire you. What is the need of the company to hire you? Because you will bring profits to the company, right? So in the interview, if you are showing that profit, the insights that you have for the company, that you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, then surely they will hire you because you are showing them the profit, and what they need is a profit. So yes, as sir told, you can go on some Glassdoor and other such websites and see and target some companies and understand their business, and then bring, if possible, bring some solution or work, learn something accordingly, and then apply. Right? So yes,
Of
sir.
course.
Okay.
Abdul Soheb has a nice question. I mean, can you briefly trace out your career path? I mean, the connecting points which eventually led to working in Mercedes.
Exciting question.
So, so I started my internship as a trainer at Skyfi Labs when I was first year of my MTech in computer science. Then in third year, then in third semester, I started doing web development for a data BI solution company. Then after my MTech, I was highly passionate about being an ethical hacker. So I joined a company as a network security engineer and had a brief career over there. But that career was stagnant. So, and I wanted a everyday challenge, which actually provides me that adrenaline rush. And looping back to machine learning, I started learning machine learning by my own, and that's how I ended up being a consultant for Accenture Technologies. For 1.5 2 years, I was there. I was developing and I was consulting on behalf of Accenture Technologies, and then I had a final breakthrough at Mercedes Benz.
That's really
That's
interesting.
that's interesting.
I have one last question from my side. This is a question which we already spoke about. Say if you see experience, I mean, if you see a JD with say which requires plus 5 years experience, say plus 4 years experience, if some student has a lot of projects, lots of personal projects which are actually valuable, in that case, do you think that particular student with a lot of projects might be able to crack for a role which requires a plus 3 experience or a plus 4 experience?
Of course, of course. First of all, really good question, Akib. So, this tendency of just having a theoretical knowledge, if we flip it, if we have, let's say, 3 or 4 projects which we have developed and we have understood in and out, then it will definitely have a huge impact when we are going out for a job.
Okay.
So it could be it could vary from let's say sentimental analysis of by using LSTMs or
Okay.
image classification or using or implementing a YOLO or making your own website and injecting an AI into it. So
Correct,
yes,
correct.
definitely that will be really essential. That will be a key breaker for getting a job or not.
And
Okay.
sir, a question that I have: should students look out for end-to-end solution, or they just focus on like machine learning and deep learning and that's over? Means, should they build end-to-end system? Should they focus on that thing?
uh, End-to-end system as in.
Yeah, end-to-end system, that is developing one application that users will be using. That can be a mobile app or web app or any sort of that thing. And then you instill machine learning and deep learning in this, and then you deploy, and so that people can use the UI part and also the machine learning part and then the deployment part. So is this building end-to-end systems and projects necessary, or focus on just machine learning thing?
See, it's definitely an added advantage if you know how to build a front end.
Okay.
It could be a rudimentary, but that can be a deal breaker when there are n number of people who are expert in machine learning and deep learning, but they don't know front end or they don't know a
Exactly.
complete pipeline.
Correct.
Let's say understanding a simple concept that data collection and data
Correct.
cleaning is 80% of machine learning.
Correct.
That's the essential part. Cleaning of data is an essential part. After rest of it, everybody can just call on to TensorFlow and make a neural network out of it. But that
Correct.
particular part, that particular pipeline has to be there.
Okay. So it will be a benefit for you if you know web development or app development, and also how to deploy those machine learning models on servers. Okay, that's
Yep,
great,
yep.
sir. That's how much importance of having experience in other field also apart from machine learning and deep learning.
Well, see, I had previously I had no experience of automobile industry, and I was absorbed by Mercedes-Benz R&D. So that cannot be a deal breaker. But yes, if you have a domain knowledge, that's a huge plus.
Correct.
But if you have a stack of knowledge which is very razor sharp, if you are really good in understanding a problem and giving out a solution, that's about it.
Okay, that's great, sir. I understood. So one more question. What would you suggest newbies that wish to learn machine learning, data science, and become data scientists?
Ah, uh, really good question. So for newbies, okay, I'll, I'll just present. So these are not a chronological order, but first thing is you need to sleep. You need to have a fresh mind to understand or to solve each and every problem which comes onto your way. Then study. You should have a study regime, study routine, and exercise, which is really important to have a healthy brain. Then definitely follow Andrew Yang, which is like a father of data science. Follow Roman Sayani sir. And there is a famous quote. I just this particular guy, Colin, is an adjunct professor at New York State University. So he is saying that try to learn about one great research paper a day. If you are doing more than that, it will be overwhelming for you. And if you are doing less than that, so if you are not reading a research paper, then you are definitely losing a point. Get a remote internship, work while you are learning. So this is really important. If you get an internship or if you get even a side job, don't lose your learning path.
Correct, sir. Correct.
Working professionals, usually I have seen that in students a lot. Once they're in final year, until their final semester, they have that learning tendency, and once they get into job, maybe they will learn what is required for the job, and anything apart from that they will stop. They're like, no, it's not needed. Let me just focus on what I have, for my what is required for my current role. That's all. They don't think anything beyond that. So you have made a very good point. Don't stop learning, even when you're working. So it's actually, I completely agree. It's very, very important.
Of course. Even right now, even in this lockdown situation, I'm constantly doing several MOOCs at a time. So,
Correct, sir.
so the baseline is never stop learning. They say that I am a Xavierite. So in Xavierite, they used to say, "Pursuit to knowledge is eternal."
Correct.
Pursuit to knowledge is eternal. Yes, very true.
And even the small thing you learn, it helps you in your career. Even the small thing.
Definitely. A small learning also will go a lot longer. Will have a long way to go.
Correct. Because you don't know when you will be able to connect that dots in the future and how that dots will get connected. So yes, sir,
Absolutely.
you are correct. You are correct. You are correct. Very correct. Uh, Sir, someone is asking, if one have knowledge of PyTorch, should we consider learning TensorFlow? And can we use TF Lite with PyTorch?
I have not used TF Lite. I used to work on Tensor. I am actually currently working on TensorFlow 2. And yeah, it's important that you should have a working knowledge of TensorFlow and PyTorch, because you never know which requirement would come.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Okay.
and very key distinction that whenever you are trying to research, always use PyTorch, because it's really helpful for research. And
Correct.
when you are trying to implement on production line, use TensorFlow.
Okay.
Correct. Okay, sir. Okay, that's great. So one question from the uh, founder, Shreyansh Panchal. He's a leader at MAD and he's in the MAD team. What's your practice for self-motivation?
Uh,
A very big point that no one tells and we want you to tell.
uh, First of all, I look into my society. So let's say I look into my hierarchy structure also. So I look up to my product manager. I look to my head of department. How much
Correct.
efforts they are putting. Whenever I check my phone or whenever I log into my office laptop, they'll be always online. They will always be working. They will always be conducting meetings. So, looking up to them definitely gives me a huge motivation boost.
Correct, sir.
Uh, Apart from that, whenever your program runs on production, it's like heaven. It gives you a dopamine shot per se.
Yes.
So,
And
sir,
then
yes, sir, please
and
continue.
then I definitely look upon Andrew Yang, Colleen. Uh, there was another Roman Sayani sir. There are few and Gary Vaynerchuk.
Correct, correct.
So that
Entrepreneur.
yeah, that gives me that hustle mode on.
Correct, 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 correct. Uh, how is career growth and what next after data scientist? What's next after data scientist?
Maybe a principal data scientist.
I'm hearing this question for the first time. Like, what next after data scientist?
Yeah, this is the first question.
That's really, I mean, it hits the philosophical point of view and your career path as well. So definitely, maybe a CTO or a principal data scientist.
Correct, correct, sir. Uh, Siddharth, of course, publishing research paper will add value to your job profile.
Of course, 100% true. If you have a single research paper into that particular domain which you are applying a job for, it will have a huge benefit for you.
Correct.
Try to publish papers. It could be IEEE paper, it could be white paper, it could be neural IPS conference, but try to publish as many papers as possible. But for that, you need to read papers.
Correct, correct. So let me tell you. Let me give you some brief introduction of Shreyansh Panchal. So whatever designs you see, whatever branding you see of MAD, all those posters, designs, those all were created under his leadership, and there is a major part in designing that he plays in MAD. So really, he's a very good designer. Uh,
Yes,
yes,
when I saw that particular template for our publicity, I was really awestruck. It was so perfectly designed.
yeah,
Shreyans,
yeah,
good work, Shreyans.
Amazing work by Shreyans.
Of course, of course.
yeah. What are the questions?
Okay, Abdul Shoaib is asking, how are ML, AI, data science, deep learning interconnected? Top-down flow would be useful. So AI is an umbrella term. AI includes everything, be it data science, be it ML, be it deep learning. ML, then it's another superset into an AI, that a small subset. And then there is an intersection between a machine learning and a deep learning.
Correct.
To have a simple idea, whenever you are using neural networks, at that point of time, you are interacting in the domain of deep learning. Whenever you are using, let's say, metadata or structured data, you are dealing with mostly machine learning.
Correct. Yes, sir, that's great. And one more point for you all, Marians, that after this masterclass, within few hours, we will be uploading a cheat sheet and a workbook for you that will guide you to this whole masterclass in just one cheat sheet. Okay, so that will be helpful for you. Uh, and yes, there will be a workbook too, so that you can write your answers and check yourself where are you standing in the journey of machine learning and data science. Okay.
Deepak, I guess I have already answered that machine learning is a part of AI. They can be considered as an umbrella. Machine
Machine
learning.
learning is more like an application of AI.
Correct.
Yep. Manish, sir, how many people usually you work in team? So there are 3 or 4 people which are business developers. Right now, for developing a particular algorithm or a particular solution, I am the current person which is serving as a data science consultant in MBRDI for my particular team.
Okay.
Being from a different background, how hard it is to get a job as a data science?
Considering the current pandemic situation, yes, it would be really difficult. But if you are expert, there is always a place for you.
Correct. Deepak, the answer to your question is this is a master class. We cannot have how image recognition works because it's a whole big complex process that we have to
Yes.
follow, right? So wait for the workshop. Mad workshop is coming on this. So just wait for this workshop. How should we get an idea for research paper?
So whenever you are reading a research paper, you will have your own thoughts to why a particular researcher has not used, let's say, TensorFlow, or why the learning rate is 0.001 and why not 0.002. Or if you're using a traffic detection system, in general, why cannot we have a traffic detection system for particular emergency vehicles? Why cannot we put that AI into a drone and then have a eagle's point of view surveillance? So this kind of questions will trigger you, and then you can have a research paper on it, and then you can have a POC on it.
Okay.
Correct, sir, correct. Now, another. Okay,
Yes.
one more question. Uh, so, what's your plan for spreading your core knowledge to the youth, to the Madians, more specifically?
Hmm. Probably scheduling a workshop, that would be great.
Yeah, so Madians, are you excited for the workshop from Amin Samasa? He will be taking the workshop and giving his core knowledge that you all are waiting for.
I can see a lot of people saying yes with a lot of H letters.
Sort of,
People saying
yes.
yeah with a lot of H letters, so that shows the excitement level already.
That's the one.
As means sure.
Amazing response.
Okay. Mad will be bringing Sir on the core platform, giving the core knowledge.
Jamish, please follow 2 minutes paper on YouTube. It's really good source for research papers.
Yeah, even I prefer that YouTube channel to 2 minutes paper. So yes, it's a very good resource. So
Let me- Thank you, Manish. Thank you so much.
Yes, we will be writing everything in the cheat sheet, so don't worry. Uh, okay, so I guess every questions are clear. What is the question? Sir, in the beginning, you have told we use less of predefined algorithms and use our own algorithms. Can you please elaborate?
Of course. So there are times when you cannot put a breakfast search or a depth first search. You cannot use a decision tree for a particular problem. At that point of time, you have to come up to, you have to develop your own solution. And that solution, for that solution, you need to write your own algorithm. That's how it becomes a proprietary algorithm, which is not available in public domain.
Okay, sir, that's great. Uh, any recommendation on how to find jobs as a fresher in machine
Uh,
learning industry?
I think now the
LinkedIn,
questions are getting a little redundant. Uh, we have kind of answered. I mean, Amin has already answered few
Yeah,
questions. I think the flow is coming like, it's getting redundant now. So
correct,
anybody
correct.
with something new that you want to ask, any last questions if you guys want to ask, best resource for reading research papers already answered. 2 minutes. The channel on YouTube. Anybody with a different question if you want to ask.
Yeah, if you have some unique questions, then ask.
for
Podcast to follow.
freshers, for freshers, I would recommend to go into Internshala or have a LinkedIn connections. That goes a long way.
Okay, someone is asking next workshop on maths.
That
Yeah,
is
it's
for you.
coming.
You can answer that question.
Yeah, that's coming very soon. Many life-changing workshops are coming right now. Yes, we are running a workshop on chatbot development, and soon other workshops are also coming. So you just stay tuned with our website and Instagram. And yes, Amin Sama sir, a genius from Mercedes-Benz, is also coming to guide you, to train you in workshops. Sir, even I am excited to have your workshop as a student. As a student.
I'm excited to share my knowledge with all the enthusiastic or the fraternity of data science people.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, so here, let's end this workshop. I guess every questions are clear. So yes, Madians, you will be getting the whole cheat sheet on the website under the section of masterclass. There is a yellow color tab. You can click and there will be get cheat sheet. Okay, so you can download. Uh, Request to host to give the link. I hope that this masterclass was really beneficial for you, bringing some real insights from some unique industries, companies. So yes, how was this? You share your experience on LinkedIn or your any social media about this masterclass so that we can bring this masterclass if that was a great experience for you.
Yash asked a really good question. Can we depend on only one programming language as whole in like Python? Yes, Python is just a language. So sometimes you need to have you need to know Julia or you need to know R for certain projects. Some front end technology as well. So it could be a mean stack or MERN stack. That would be really beneficial. Just don't stuck with a single favorite language per se. So if you think that Python is your favorite language, have a supporting skill around it. Have a different knowledge, different languages as well. That could go a long way.
Correct, correct, absolutely correct, sir. Usually we get confused with Python and Java. What about Octave language? Octave is just like a similar kind of version like MATLAB, right? So it will not be useful much in machine learning because there were no defined libraries for machine learning. You just have to do everything from basics, just like you do in MATLAB. Okay, so it is not a if you are in research work, then it will be beneficial as I don't think so, right, sir?
Yes, yes, of course, absolutely.
Okay. So, okay, Marians. So, sir, we really congratulate you, and I don't have any words for this session because it went really amazing with you. The insights that you have shared, absolutely no words. Thank you so
I'm
much
glad.
for.
I'm glad I could do effort. I could put some effort to our data science fraternity. And thank you, Tit, for organizing such masterclass. This kind of pioneer podcasts are really essential for our indigenous data science community.
Correct, sir. Correct.
It's a really good initiative. I really appreciate that, Tit. And I keep
Thank
definitely.
you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much for coming on board and giving this much of useful things, Marians, that they can never get anywhere. And so, yes, we will be having you very soon as a leader, as a trainer, as a mentor for Marians.
Honor would be mine.
Guys, can we have a round of applause in terms of a thanks message on the chat box for Amin for giving us a lot of insights and a lot of exposures about the industry and a lot of things that
Correct.
yes, a lot of thanks. Yes, thank you from my side and from our side, Amin. It was actually very interesting, very insightful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so flattered.
Okay. So, thank you so much, Marians, for connecting. You can share your experience on LinkedIn or any sort of thing that will help us to bring more such kind of master classes. And yes, many things are planned. You just stay tuned with MAD. A lot of things are coming. A whole pipeline is designed for you that we are bringing for you in the very different way. Every workshop will be a challenging workshop for you, and every master class with Amin sir, every workshop with Amin sir, and all other things will be 100% beneficial for you in each and every way. Like just Amin sir told that, see, in today's masterclass, yes, we have shared some tech things, but with that, Amin sir also told you some life principles that you should know before learning anything. So these all insights are very rare to find, and yes, we congratulate and Amin sir to have this journey, a really inspiring journey for everyone. We really
Thank you, Dit. Thank you so much. Keep learning, guys.
Okay, in maybe tomorrow or maybe by tonight, you will be having a cheat sheet on our website. You just go in the masterclass section and there get entered, click on learn more, and there you will find the cheat sheet for this session. Okay, and soon we will be also uploading these videos. We will be uploading this video, Amin Sama sir's videos on our website, so you can see as many times you want. Okay. So the link is shared. You can get down on that flow. Okay, sir.
Okay, then I think we can wind up for the day.
Correct.
Thank you, Amin. Thank you, Teet. Thank you, everyone, for joining in, for being so patient. We hope to see you in the next classes, couple of classes coming up really soon. So until then, keep learning, and stay safe. Very important during current times. Stay safe and keep learning. Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amin sir. Thank you so much. It was really.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Bye bye.